You know, I've often said that the story of gangs in America is as old as the country itself. But something changed in the 1980s. Drugs, guns, and poverty collided, and what had once been rivalries between neighborhoods turned into something far deadlier. By the time we hit the early 1990s, even places like my hometown of Little Rock, Arkansas, not exactly the big city most people would expect, had become a hotbed of gang activity. In fact, in 1993, HBO showed the whole nation what we were living through in their award-winning documentary, Gang War, Banging in Little Rock. As coroner of Pulaski County, I saw it all firsthand. The drive-by shootings, young lives cut short, grandmothers killed in their gardens, infants struck down while wrapped in their blankets. It wasn't just numbers on a report to me. These were real people, real families, and far too many of them were children. I couldn't just numb out like some people told me I should. I had to know why these kids were killing each other. So I went to the streets. I spent time with the gang members. I listened. I learned their language, their symbols, their codes. And that's when I realized something important. Every one of these kids belonged to what I came to call the 5H Club. They were helpless, hopeless, homeless, hungry, and hugless. The gangs filled that void, giving them the identity, recognition, and belonging they weren't finding anywhere else. Not everybody liked what I was doing. Some said I was crazy, a do-gooder, even accused me of negotiating with terrorists, but I kept going because I knew if we were ever going to stop the killing, prevention had to matter as much as punishment. That HBO documentary opened doors I never expected. I ended up traveling to more than 30 states, speaking to communities, schools, churches, and police departments about what I had seen and what we could do. I watched some of the very kids I had known on the streets leave the gangs, go back to school, join the workforce, and even come back as mentors and role models for the next generation. I want to pause for a minute and give credit where it's due. Much of what I've shared here today was first told in the book What God Can Do by my good friend Deborah Mathis. She sat with me, listened carefully, and put these stories into words in a way I could never have done alone. I'm honored to share that part of her work with you today. At the end of the day, my mission has always been simple: to understand the why and to bring hope where there was none. Before we go, let me give you a little teaser on an upcoming episode. Back when Deborah Mathis was a TV reporter for Channel 7 in Little Rock, she was chasing a story about a fire in an eastern Arkansas town, a fire that had killed an entire family of black sharecroppers. The man she was after was a suspected Klan leader. She asked me to come along for a little backup, and I gladly obliged. The next thing I know, there's Deborah and her cameraman sprinting down the street after the old KKK guy, cameras rolling, and there's me huffing and puffing behind them trying to catch up with the whole circus. Now, it was a serious story, but let me tell you, from my view in the rear, it looked more like a comedy chase scene than an investigative news segment. You don't want to miss that one. This has been another edition of A Coroner's Memory. If you'd like to hear more stories like this, please like, share, and subscribe, and comment if you feel like it. And as always, remember, every story matters.